could have been a different game. I mean, we can do that all day long, but I don't think Hart needs to be too discouraged by that game, is I guess what I would say.
No, not at all. It's a long series. It's a mirror matchup after all. Overgrove is going to be our second map. Haven't casted a whole lot of TVTs on this map either, but it should be a lot of fun. Bomber going up against Hart. The score is currently 1-0 in favor of the red Terran, which is Bomber.
Should be excited. I mean, kind of looking at the map, this map screams, to me, TVT, really, really cool. Like the third, very positionally. If you can get to the left side of that top end third at the 12 o'clock position of the map, undetected, you will shut down that third. However, I feel like that's a really cool element in TVT where you should be rewarded for your subterfuge or for your intel. If you're able to gather the intel, oh, his army's moving out over there, that opens up options for your own counterattack or to move into position to intercept that critical position. And I like that kind of ebb and flow of TVT.
How cool is this? I haven't seen this yet.
Oh yeah, Bitcoin? That is cool. He was talking about that. He said it was worth putting out here, I guess. They give Axiom $500 a month. I don't know if I land a Tastosis casting gig, I think I could you know, put my fat face on Axiom for like 6 months. That'd be kind of funny. Like sponsored by Jeff Robinson. And just give him the middle finger like from the whole time. Take that, Axiom. And he's like, fine, I'll take your money. Anyways.
Of course, Axiom's Hart is our blue Terran, excuse me, in the right top side. In the right top side of the map. Give it up for our Hart.
And his opponent, oftentimes thrown from planes by his sponsor. It is Bomber. I realize a lot of people might think that's an especially dumb joke about his name, but no, actually Red Bull, it's like every time they announce a player, the next thing that I see is them tossing said player out of an airplane. That's what they do.
And they have done that multiple times.
It's okay, they give him a parachute, but still, I would be pissed.
The guys from Red Bull are super cool. Like, they take us out for go-karts all the time. Last time I won.
I could do go-karts.
It was really cool.
You won at go-karts?
Yeah, I beat the guys from Red Bull.
Wow.
Mr. Bitter was really bad, by the way.
You know, that doesn't seem like a big stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
He probably blamed it on the go-kart, too.
Yes, he said. He said his card was less powerful than mine.
That's so Mr. Bitter. That's amazing.
All right.
Missed that guy. Well, you'll be seeing him fairly soon, I guess. Red Bull is going to be doing some events coming up, but story for another day. Both these players opening up in a fairly similar fashion. You can see there's obviously a 50 gas bump here for our blue Terran, so... Well, no, that's because he made a Reaper. Never mind. They're very similar, otherwise.
Yep. Curious to see where, of course, both players are going to take it. Will Bomber mine gas forever? No, this map is a little bit better for the Reaper, but it's still not a fantastic map. The majority of the Neo maps are just not that good for the Reaper.
No.
I guess you could say King's Young Station, because there's this ice block on the side that you at least can still get out of the base, is reasonable. But other than that, the majority of the maps is not very good for Reapers, which also means they are not very good for Blink Stalker all-ins, which probably has something to do with it.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's actually who I feel we blame for why Reapers aren't good on these maps. Like,
it's actually the Protoss fault.
It is. It's funny we say that, and it sounds like we're making a joke, but I really feel like it is. Now that Reaper dies,
it did see the command center.
It does see the command center. So it actually dies basically doing what it's supposed to do anyways. Sees the factory and the command center.
You would still love to keep it alive a little longer though.
Of course, you'd always want to keep it alive, but at least it's not all for lost, you know. But to finish my thought, we were having a really tough time in the earlier part of this year with Protoss players really abusing the Twilight Council and going for a 6-gate blink off a 2-gas, or really just blink all-ins in general. That in conjunction with the Mothership Core. So these new maps, they put like, I don't know what to call it, it's like foliage around the cliffs, or they made them high cliffs, so they're harder to blink into. Still possible, but not as easy. But in doing that, it's funny because the Protoss still hurt the Terran. Reapers have a tough time.
I like what Bomber is doing over here. He saw that there was a second Reaper on the map as well. And by the way, this is where it really hurts for Hart that he lost that first Reaper, because you don't go 2 Reapers just to scout. 2 Reapers you really go because you want to get a couple of SCV kills as well. There is another command center, by the way, going up at home, but what I thought was going to happen, this Reaper was also going to go to the natural, and it would run straight into these Marines, which of course have high ground vision, something that you cannot see if your Reaper is positioned over here. But we are not going to see that just yet, so still a very even game where Hart is showing us that he wants to play this very, very economic. And do you think we might even see him play mech? Do you think?
It's definitely possible. Certainly possible. But it's going to be Cloak Banshee for both these players. It's kind of funny because if you look at the builds, they're basically the same, right? Like the Cloak Banshee of Bomber is a little bit sooner, but Heart has a whole nother third CC, so it's like, I like Heart's build. I choose Heart's build.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to mean that a couple of his upgrades later on will be a little bit later, of course, and Bomber might be able to tech out a little quicker. And we do see the Raven already in production for Heart, which is, of course, very smart because this Reaper gets the perfect scout off and sees the starport. He can't. Oh, Bomber, so smart. Like, the Reaper saw everything. He saw the starport with the tech lab, and he saw Cloak being researched, and Bomber is like, well, if you're going to be that smart and you're going to try to, like, counter me with your Raven, I'm just going to cancel my Cloak immediately. Well done here by Bomber. We can see a couple of mind games going on for both sides.
You know, yeah, you say mind games, and I agree, but I also like that basically Bomber's not so stubborn that he'll just try it anyways.
Yeah.
A Cloak Banshee scouted with Cloak at halfway done and a Banshee like a quarter of the way made, that's very little chance for success. And the other lasting effect of this too is until Heart realizes he's not facing a Banshee, he'll be saving up a little bit more energy. You can see on both CCs he has one scan/mule available. Not the biggest of deals. It's not like that's going to go on forever. In fact, as I said, he drops 2 mules. But little things like that at this tier of StarCraft 2 do have effects.
I mean, of course, with the extra command center, Heart is going to take in commanding work elite. We can already see he's up 7 SCVs, but he's not scouting right now. And Bomber completely changed the pace of what he wanted to do, or at least what he showed to his opponent. And he's already marching across the map. He's going to be the one containing the other player this time. And how well will Heart be prepared for that? Just now, his first siege tank is in production, so he's going to have to buy time. If we take a look at the upgrades, Bomber is like roughly 50 seconds ahead on Stim. That's, you know, that's just what that extra command center does. It means that all your upgrades are a little later. Bomber is going to have to do some serious economic damage though with this push, because if he doesn't do anything and a scan goes down in the main base right now, it's a really important scan, because I think right now Heart immediately knows what's going on. If he has Chrono Boost, yeah, if he has Chrono Boost, he would be Chrono Boosting his tank out right now.
Well, here comes Bomber, and he's going to go for that critical position, like I said. You know, that's so strong. He's heading right to it. From there, it's a bit of a choke point. It's a huge wraparound to try to get around a flank, and it challenges the third. But unfortunately for Bomber, not only is it scouted out, but that's not the third that Heart was going to ever take. He's taking the middle third, which is really nice for him. He still wants to move over to intercept to make sure that Bomber doesn't latch onto another strong position, perhaps threatening the natural. But as we can see here, developing, both players going for what will be Marine Tank. We kind of called this for potentially Polt Bomber, but here it is, of course, very capable for Heart.
Stim is ready for Bomber. Stim is not ready yet for Heart, so Heart really has to be careful. Of course, this is not something that Bomber could possibly know.
Oh, wow.
It was great scouting, by the way, on the left side with that single Marine, because that really prevented Bomber from getting in an excellent position and maybe just jumping on top of the small army that Heart had on that moment, where Bomber had Stim and Heart did not have. So it was really
almost
important.
Too much respect from Heart. I mean, he immediately dislodges that third. And yeah, we're gonna get a pause here to see perhaps something a little bit wrong, but just to talk about that, I mean, the tower, well, I say too much respect, but maybe it's not too much respect. Maybe it's just that it's the right amount of respect. The tower gives spotting, which is so powerful. And then again, from this position, you can threaten the third. And this is gonna be the chess match that goes back and forth for both these players all game long. And again, I like seeing Bomber taking the initiative, saying, I'm out on the map threatening those positions. And
we have a super interesting scenario unfolding right now, but I don't really want to talk about it yet because we have a pause, so there's a chance that the players will take off their headsets. But what's going to happen in the next 30-40 seconds could be really interesting. Either way, the score is currently 1-0 in favor of Bomber. If you just joined us, this is the second quarterfinal today of the Lone Star Clash Invitational number 3. We have 2 more quarterfinals after this. Violet is going to play against Seed, correct? And then we have
Jaedong and Stefano.
Oh god, you're casting that one solo, I heard.
I should. I can cast it with myself, my co-caster. Bomber's knocking down the rocks, but what he doesn't know could very well hurt him. We have once again 16 Marines queued up. Sim has finished for them.
But this is super interesting because what could happen as well is that Bomber goes YOLO mode as soon as he sees like, hey, you have 16 Marines and 2 medevacs on the left side of the map. Then I'm just going to try to win the game. I'm going to try to do more damage to you than you can do to me with those 16 Marines.
Kevin, here they come. They're actually offloading just outside. I don't like that as much. There's nothing in here. Bomber's sending more out to the middle of the map. YOLO 420 swag could end up getting called here. Immediately the CC is picked up.
It's YOLO swag 420, Jeff.
It's said anyway because of YOLO. Anyways, the Marines are going to try to get pulled over here.
No combat shield.
They don't get the CC, so an interesting target priority. They're getting a lot of SCVs right now, and Bomber's army is just sitting in the middle of the map. I think that's the worst thing he could have done.
Yeah.
He needed to do something. Maybe it's not a shove to the natural, but it's to make sure the third's not lawed, or, going down or something. He needs to do something with this army.
He's going to try his team. He's threw down the scan, but he doesn't have combat shield. So these Marines, I'm afraid for Bomber, are going to die so quickly. Even though they get pretty damn close to these tanks, is it going to be a nice hot pickup there for Bomber? Very well done.
Hot pickup is right. And again, unfortunately, and some secret missiles coming out as well.
Pick up the tank.
Still land, doing a lot of damage here, dropping down, kills the other tanks. Bomber takes a decisive loss mid-map and still has a supply lead because he's Bomber, but let's pretend that this is more important. A lot of SCVs did die there. If you look at the, actually, excuse me, Hart has the Harvester lead. And yeah, not a lot, 14 died in total. I thought a lot more died, but it was not as big of a
Bomber has an overwhelming Marine count advantage right now, though, 34 against 18. So this might actually be the moment where Hart is going to have to temporarily abandon this space, unless he's going to try to defend it with tanks. Well, Bomber is already sieged. Hart, Hart doesn't really have to defend this base on this location. He could temporarily give it up. He is still up one command center. And above all, combat shield is so incredibly late for Bomber.
Bomber loading up the Mega Drop and brazenly flying right over the base. There is stimmed Marines there, but it doesn't matter. He says, he's like, look at Hart. He's like, I can do it too.
Well, he only has 3 Marines.
Yeah,
this is a really big drop for Bomber, and this could actually be a super successful drop as well. Medivacs being misrallied. Bomber with the sick plays over here.
What a great choice. It's something that Protoss players have struggled with for a long time, is attacking the third, just simply picking up and going into the main. And right now, Hart's feeling that pain. 3 tanks down here in a larger Marine force. That's it. Hart calls GG. And Bomber once again with the decisive move for the win.